Hey, it's Chuck and Anj. Great that you've joined us on social media. We're getting ready for a big week of high school sports here on TV 46. It kicks off tonight with the girls' soccer version of the War on the Shore, St. Joe and Lakeshore, and this was a classic.
Look, they can play in horseshoes between St. Joe and Lakeshore, and it's going to be a great game. And this one lived up the hype, to say the least. Final 20 minutes, intensity through the roof. You feel like they're playing for a district championship, which they probably will, Chuck, because over the years, the last 10 district titles have been won by Lakeshore or St. Joe. So that could very well be the case in a couple weeks, but this one's worth tuning into. A lot of fun up in Lakeshore.
So that one's tonight at 11 and tomorrow morning at 9. Now, last night, Anj and I had the privilege of being at Rice Field for the Northern Indiana Conference boys track meet as we did our homework for the sectional that we will broadcast next week. And some impressive performances last night.
Yeah, you started the 4x100 relay. Penn wins. Not only do they win, but they also set a new meet record, 42.02 in the 4x100 relay. Let's rattle off the names of the guys that won the DJ White, Elijah Coker, Kellen Watson, and Josiah Williams. They break a previous record set by Penn back in 2013 by some guys named Oakley, Beeler. Those guys were fast back in the day.
Yeah, and then you've got Luke Kaufhold, who looked terrific in the hurdle races last night. In fact, in the 300 low hurdles, he went under 40 seconds, which is the 11th fastest time in the state this year. Elkhart's 4x8 relay team looked well, but we're going to see some great people at the sectional next week. Not only Penn and St. Joe, but we get to add Mishawaka to the mix, and I know you're a big fan of Bull Agwick over at Adams.
I mean, what Bull Agwick at Adams did last night was very impressive. He ran the 1 mile, lost by 0.05 of a second. 35 minutes later, comes back and wins the 800 by 1/100th of a second. 10 minutes later, comes back and finishes 4th in the 2 mile. I mean, that's insanity, and he did it, and it was very impressive. I don't know if we'll see him run all those races next week in the sectional, but what he did last night was impressive, and he's going to be a lot of fun to watch, certainly.
So some state caliber athletes on display next week on TV 46. We'll show that one next Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. And just to update you on some of the teams we've already had in the spring showcase, St. Joe softball team looks ready to clinch a conference championship in the NIC because the Indians knocked off Penn on Monday night, and now all they have to do is get past Elkhart and they'll claim the conference title. But they're not the only ones in the NIC that we've seen. Marion didn't look good the night we had them, but they're in the driver's seat right now.
Well, Marion baseball's only loss was the night we had them last week, but from there, Penn has stumbled twice this week, and that has resulted in Marion having a chance to win the outright NIC championship in baseball with a victory coming up on Monday. It won't be easy, Chuck, because they got to face Glenn, who we know is a very good baseball team. If Marion were to stumble against Glenn, then Penn can get back into the mix, but they would also have to beat New Prairie, which would not be easy as well.
Yeah, if you thought Bryson Hanna was great in basketball, you should see him on the baseball field. He's having a spectacular season. And then that Mishawaka softball team we showed you a couple of weeks ago with that 8-4 win against Northridge, they are cruising through the Northern Lakes Conference. Brian Miller's squad can clinch the conference title outright tonight, and you've got some nuggets on the Mishawaka, both their teams on the diamond.
Well, that's the thing. They can win the outright NLC championship in both softball and baseball tonight. Baseball will host Northwood over at Four Winds Field, and then softball's on the road at Northwood. Obviously, it would be their first NLC championships for both as new members of the conference, but it's been a long time since either has won a conference championship. Baseball goes back to 1997. Softball, they have not won a conference title since 2010, so a pretty historic evening possibly ahead for both baseball and softball. And here's the thing, if either one were to stumble, they've got a couple more conference games to go, so they have more of an opportunity, but they would love to just win it in class tonight and both get the outright championships in the same night.
So the spring showcase continues tonight here on TV 46 with high school soccer. It's Lakeshore and St. Joe tonight at 11 and tomorrow morning at 9. For Angelo DiCarlo, Chuck Freeby, thanks for joining us here on social media.